We didn't know it back then. When we opened that first book or sat in the dark watching a boy with a lightning-shaped scar discover a hidden world, we had no idea we were walking into something that would grow up with us. To us, it wasn't a cultural moment. It was an escape, a place where friendship and courage could conquer anything, and the world still felt safe. But time moved on, and somewhere between childhood and adulthood, between the castle walls and the gray edges of real life, we lost that feeling. The one that made us believe magic could be waiting just around the corner. The one that made us hope we'd find our own letter someday. We didn't just grow up watching Harry Potter. We grew up inside it. And now as adults, we feel that quiet ache, the invisible pull toward a place that no longer exists except in memory. This is what it feels like to leave Hogwarts. When we were kids, the story was simple: good and evil, heroes and villains, a world of candles, ghosts, and laughter echoing through endless halls. But as we got older, the story changed. Or maybe we did. Because Harry Potter was never just about magic. It was about growing up, about facing loss, identity, and the moment you realize no one can protect you from life. Back then, Hogwarts felt eternal. It was the first world that made sense when our own didn't. Every flicker of torchlight, every feast, every moment of friendship felt infinite. But Hogwarts was never meant to last forever. It was meant to teach us how to live when we left it behind. When the final credits rolled, it didn't just end a story, it ended a chapter of our lives. The one where we still believed in wonder without question. Growing up feels like standing on platform 9 3/4, suitcase in hand, fog all around, knowing the train is leaving and you can't go back. As children, we thought the magic would last forever. As adults, we learned that magic has a cost. Adulthood gives us responsibilities, bills and grief, things no spell can fix. And yet, there's still a part of us that wants to believe. Because deep down, we know that Hogwarts wasn't a fantasy. It was a reflection, a mirror showing us what it means to keep hope alive when everything else fades. We learned more from that world than we realized. That friendship can save you. That bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's standing your ground despite it. That love is the most powerful force in the world, even stronger than death. But the hardest lesson was this: every kind of magic eventually asks for something in return. Every spell costs something. Every victory leaves a scar. And every story, no matter how beloved, must end. When we were 11, that truth was far away. Now we live it every day, or saying goodbye to moments before we even realize they're gone. That's what growing up is, learning to move forward while carrying the ghosts of everything you've loved. For most of us, Harry Potter wasn't a movie franchise. It was a companion. It shaped who we became. We saw ourselves in those characters. In Hermione's determination to prove herself, in Ron's loyalty despite fear, in Harry's constant search for belonging. The early films glowed with childhood warmth. By the end, the colors had dimmed, the laughter had quieted, and death had become part of the story. It mirrored our own journey, from innocence to awareness, from simplicity to sorrow. That's why rewatching it now feels different, because we understand what we couldn't back then. That growing up means learning to live with both light and loss. We like to think we lost the magic somewhere along the way, but maybe it's still here, just quieter. As kids, we believed without hesitation. As adults, belief takes effort. But every time Hedwig's theme plays, every time we glimpse that castle in the fog, something inside us stirs, a heartbeat of the person we used to be. The truth is, the magic didn't die. It just changed shape. Now it lives in the small, unremarkable things. In laughter that softens a hard day. In the people who stay when the world feels heavy. In the moments that remind us who we are. That's the magic Hogwarts prepared us for. The kind that doesn't rely on wands or spells, but on kindness, love, and the courage to keep believing when it would be easier to stop. Sometimes I wonder, did we ever really leave Hogwarts? Or did it leave pieces of itself in us? Because even now we still look for it. In books, in music, in quiet acts of hope. It's in the way we hold on to friendships. It's in the way we protect what's good. It's in the way we choose love, even when the world gives us every reason not to. That's what this story gave us. That's why these stories stay with us, because they helped us practice being human before we had to do it for real. They gave us strength for the things life would eventually take. They showed us that endings hurt, but they're not the end. The world told us Harry Potter was a fantasy, but for many of us, it was our first lesson in reality, that growing up means carrying both wonder and sorrow in the same heart. As children, magic was escape. As adults, magic is endurance. We don't need to see spells to know it exists. We feel it every time we choose hope instead of cynicism, compassion instead of indifference. We stopped waiting for our Hogwarts letter a long time ago, but we never stopped needing what that world gave us. A reminder that we're capable of light, even in the darkest places. If you listen closely, that magic still calls to you. It's in the laughter of old friends, in the quiet of a rainy night, in the way a familiar song can make you feel 11 again. It's not gone, it's grown into something you carry now. Because Hogwarts was never just a school, it was an idea that love is the greatest spell, that courage is born from fear, and that hope, no matter how small, can still light the way home. We measure our lives in stories, and Harry Potter became one of ours. For many of us, it was the map that guided our childhood. When Harry faced monsters, we faced our own. When he lost people, we learned what grief meant. And when he walked into that forest, ready to die, we learned what real courage looks like. The kind that doesn't seek glory, only peace. That's why leaving Hogwarts hurts, because it felt like losing the last piece of who we were before the world demanded we grow up. But stories like this don't really end. They echo. They become memories we return to when life feels too heavy, when we need to remember that somewhere deep down, we once believed in something beautiful, and maybe still do. So maybe growing up isn't about losing magic. Maybe it's about learning to find it again. Not in spells or castles, but in the people we love, the dreams we fight for, the light we refuse to let go of. Hogwarts wasn't a place, it was a time, a feeling, a lesson that still lives in us. And every time we whisper Lumos in the dark, every time we choose kindness when it would be easier to turn away, we prove that the magic was never lost. It simply changed form, from a world we entered to the way we live in this one. Because if you ever loved that story, if it ever made you believe in something better, then Hogwarts is still with you, always. We didn't lose the magic, we became it. The courage, the love, the hope. They're still here, quiet, invisible, but alive. And maybe that's what it really means to grow up, to carry the spell forward, to build our own kind of Hogwarts in the world around us, one act of light at a time.